It's here, Needham. No, not that Needham, the little piece of Needham over here, otherwise known as Back Bay. Confused? Just trust me on this, okay? As the name suggests, Back Bay was once underwater. In 1814, Boston looked like this, until a man named Uriah Cotting decided to build a series of dams across Back Bay to provide power to the mills. As Boston's economy expanded, railways were built. All that development cut off the tidal basin from the sea, causing it to become filled with debris and toxic waste. By 1850, Back Bay had gotten so gross, Bostonians demanded action. But they couldn't just make it an EPA Superfund site. Nixon wasn't around to create the EPA, and Nixon's parents weren't around to create Nixon. So they did the next best thing, bury it and pretend it never happened. They built a new railroad to quarries in Needham and hauled in massive amounts of land and stone, 25 enormous trainloads a day. It took them almost 25 years to fill in the disgusting mess, but by the time they finished in 1882, they had nearly doubled the size of the original Shawmut Peninsula, a huge swath of Needham earth that stretches from the public garden all the way to Kenmore Square. Today, Back Bay is home to some of the most expensive real estate in town, but in a few decades, Back Bay could return to its original tenants, the fish.
Some projections have Back Bay under 3 to 6 feet of water by the end of the century. The highest tides of the year are already flooding places that weren't flooded before, so our sea levels have already risen enough to the fact that we're already seeing some effects. But assuming the CO2 continues to go in the atmosphere at the rate it is now, then our sea levels are only going to continue to rise. So I would say by 2050, some estimations are that a couple feet of sea level rise could happen. And we're talking about places like Back Bay that are already essentially really close to sea level. You're going to see some real consequences just in the next 10 to 20 years.